Hey quilting friends, it's Carolina Moore, your favorite quilting and sewing YouTuber here, and Creative Grid sent me one of their rulers. They sent me this kitty cornered ruler, trim tool, just like piece of plexiglass amazingness to play with, and I had a super fun time making different blocks with this, and I went ahead and made a quilt using this ruler. It's called the Lattice Star Quilt. It's available through Cut Loose Press. If you go down to the description box, I have a link to my blog post about it and a link to the pattern itself so that you can buy the pattern if you like. But we're gonna go through this trim tool because the way that it's designed is just basically genius. Because you're gonna work your way around the different corners of the ruler to make the kitty cornered block. And it's super fun. So the first thing you're gonna do, which I've already done here, is you're gonna cut your unit A, and I'm making 5-inch blocks today. So I've cut my 6-inch square. And then you're gonna cut your pieces for your unit B, and again, I'm making 5-inch blocks, so I've cut my 4 by 6 1/4 inch piece here. And if you notice, it says cut 2 on both of them. And when you cut your 2, you want to place them either right sides together or wrong sides together. I mean, it doesn't matter. My fabric is usually right sides out, so wrong sides together, and you just want to leave it that way. You want double layers on your fabrics because this is actually going to make 2 blocks at once, and we're actually going to get out the sewing machine and we're going to stitch these up together as well, so you can see how this works. Okay, so once you've cut your pieces, your next step is going to be to start with step 1, and it says right up here in the corner, step 1. And it has the instructions right on here: cutting the A units, fold square diagonally, and place fold on this line. So we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna take our square, we're going to fold it diagonally, and you can do this on your ironing board and press them. You can also, if you're worried, do them individually, like one at a time. I'm doing both at the same time because I'm a total rebel and I'm totally fine with it. Now we're going to line up this ruler, and of course, to be able to see what I'm doing better, I'm going to go ahead and grab my spot on dots to see how I'm doing on lining that up. And the spot on dot is just a magnifying lens that'll stick right on there and help us see that fabric on that line and make sure that it's all lined up. And it is. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. Now, these are some gorgeous pieces of fabric that we have left over. You're actually not going to be using these in the project, but when you put them together, they make half, ooh, come here. There we go. They make half rectangle triangles. And there is a half rectangle trim tool that you can use to make these as well, to make more of them and make a fabulous quilt. I made a secondary pattern from the Lattice Star Quilt that I made. The secondary pattern is the half rectangle pillow pattern, and that's also available through Cut Loose Press. I've got a link for that down below as well. So don't toss these when you make the bigger units because they are just fabulous. As I was playing with the kitty corner ruler, I actually made some of the tiniest blocks you can make. So this isn't quite as small as it can get. It can actually get smaller. This one is a 2-inch finished size, and you can get actually all the way down to 1-inch finished size, which is super, super tiny. But this one to me was just cute, and I just wanted to see how it looked as a smaller unit. So there we go. You can make smaller ones. We're making the 5-inch. You can make all the way up to 6-inch blocks using the kitty corner ruler. Okay, so I have my A units, and there are 2 of them. So now I'm going to set these aside, and it's time for my B units. So we had our step 1, and then we're going to go ahead and just turn this. And now we've got our step 2, cutting the B units, align left edge of rectangle along this line. So the left edge of my rectangle is getting lined up along this line, and I've got my top flush. Again, I can just go ahead and use the spot on dot to make sure that I am lining everything up well, and I am. So now we've done step 2 and it's time to rotate over to step 3, and that's going to be to clip this bottom corner of the B unit. Now you don't want to skip this step because it's just going to make your sewing life so much easier when you sew everything together. You're just going to trim off that bottom corner, and we're lining up our edges here and here with these lines here and here. And if those are hard to see, you can grab your spot on dots to be able to see those lines a little better. And there we go. Alrighty. So now we have our B units, and those are going to combine with our A units. So let me grab one A unit and one B unit, and we're going to see how this goes. So we're going to put one piece here and one piece here, and you can see those are the mirror sides that are going to come out here. And that's why we were cutting 2 at a time, because when we have our other one, we will have our 2 mirrored sides. That will go one here and one here. And I picked some fun, wild, and crazy fabrics for this sample. So I'm going to get out my sewing machine and I'm going to go ahead and stitch these so you see what that looks like. Okie doke, as we stitch these, we want to remember to have the big side and the big side together, and the skinny sides and the skinny sides come together. And we're going to put our B unit on top of our A unit, and this little piece that we cut will line up exactly right there, and that'll give us our seam allowance. And the end is going to extend beyond the end of our point. So we're going to go ahead and stitch this, and we'll be able to stitch the second one because we love to chain piece. Now we're going to press this, and I like to press out from A towards B. And I have a little iron here over on the side, so I'm going to go ahead and press it. There we go. We have our A unit with one side of the B unit put on, and now we're going to stitch the other B unit. And again, we're going to stitch from the wide end to the narrow end, but this time it's on the left side, so we're just going to flip it over. And that way we can line up that trimmed off corner and sew. And I'll go ahead and sew both blocks. So I have my 2 kitty corner blocks stitched up, and I'm ready to square them up. And we're going to go ahead and use our same ruler to square these up. So in the corner here, and you can see this a little bit better with this tiny spot on dot, but it does get really, really close to the edge. So if you want to line up with a spot on dot and then remove it, you can. You're just going to line up that corner right there, and then your other corner down here. So see, I'm lining up this tiny corner right here and that corner up there along this diagonal. And anytime you line up 2 points, you know you have your straight line. So then with my ruler, I'm going to cut 2 sides. We're going to flip it 180 degrees. And now this is a 5-inch finished block, so I'm going to be able to line up down here with a 5-inch. And I can line up this 5-inch line here and this 5-inch line along here. There we go. And now I have my 5-inch finished block, and if I see this here on my mat, it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches trimmed up, because in my quilt it will be 5 inches finished. So the ruler does the math for me, what size do I need my finished block to be, and it'll make sure that the size that I cut will finish up that way when it's in the quilt. So your 5.5-inch trimmed 5-inch finished block. And again, it goes all the way down to a 2-inch finished block, which, I mean, how cute is that? So now you can add these super fun kitty cornered units to all of your quilts. They add a little bit of sparkle and dimension, and this is such a fun ruler. This is Creative Grids, so you can find this at any of your independent quilt shops. And I will have links down below for you as well if you don't have a local shop near you that carries the kitty corner ruler. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. If you subscribe and you hit that bell, you'll be the first to know every time I have a new video, and you don't want to miss anything because I have more fun coming for you right here real soon. Bye friends, see you soon.